Plot Twist is a 2-star card. Yeah, it is. Screw you guys. All of you out there on YouTube, all of you, you know who you are. You know who you are. Who besmirched my name, who insulted my beard, who said I was stupid. I know who you are. I see you. I know you. You said Plot Twist was great. Best card in the set. 5 stars. Regis, you're an idiot. Regis, you're a moron. No. No.
Hey, buddy, watch this.
Okay, so anyway. So here's the deal, right? When we talk about card reviews, for me, I want to try to set a standard for what these sorts of things mean. So 5-star cards to me are like meta-defining centerpiece style cards. In other words, cards that like help define a deck. Like Conjurer's Calling, 5-star card, right? It's not only played a lot, it has a 12.7% inclusion rate, which is very high, but it also like makes the deck. Like it's the strongest card. Khadgar, same way, right? Like Khadgar, 5-star card, it defines a top meta deck, right? Alternatively, say, let's talk about like Unleash the Beast. I do not think Unleash the Beast is a 5-star card. It's very good. It gets played a lot. It's in a high tier deck, but it's not like the card that makes the deck, right? Like I would argue Zul'jin is maybe the 5-star card for Hunter, not Unleash the Beast. And certainly there can be multiple 5-star cards in a deck, but I don't think Unleash the Beast is a 5-star card. I think it's a 4-star card, right? So I just want to set that moniker. Like Clockwork Goblin, debatable. Maybe that's one we can talk about. Like certainly the bombs defines Bomb Warrior. So is Blastmaster Boom a 5-star card? Probably. Is Clockwork Goblin? I'm not sure, right? I don't know. Maybe. It's probably still 4 in my mind, to be truthful with you. So there are basically 2 things that can make a card 5 stars. Impact and just obscene popularity, like a card that's played across a ton of different decks, like neutral cards that are like Ziliax, obviously, 5-star card. It doesn't define decks, but it's just so widely used and so defining for the meta as a whole, or a card that defines a deck in the meta as well. So those are 5-star cards. 4-star cards are just cards that get played a lot in high-tier meta decks, right? 3-star cards...
Make some room by the hearth, won't you?
Yes, Dr.
Unleash
Fritz.
the Beast is a card that you could cut. Conjurer's Calling isn't really something you can cut without a radical change to game plan.
Exactly. Perfect example. Yes, like, that's a good way to put it, right? Like, it's fundamental to the deck's success, right? Zul'jin wins games because of Unleash. Well, not only though, right? Like there's tons of other things that support Zul'jin. Unleash is just a part of the package, which is really, again, kind of supporting what I mean. Like it's just a part of it. It's not the defining aspect. The strange thing is without the bomb cards like Clockwork Goblin, Blastmaster Boom isn't even good. That's why I said that one's debatable. Like that one we can talk about when we get there. But 4-star cards are cards that are popular and played in higher tier decks that get included. 3-star cards are cards that are like fringe inclusions sometimes, like they don't always see play in a given deck, but they pop up from time to time, or they're just really low impact, kind of forgettable cards that might not last throughout a future meta, but they're still playable. 2-star cards are cards that are almost never really played, but have that potential, or maybe you've seen them once in some list a dude made. Like Former Champ right now probably still feels like a 2-star card, even though it's being played a little bit here and there. It's not like something that has really become an identifiable part of the meta. It's super, super fringe, right? And then 1-star cards are just utter garbage that never gets played. Like it has no chance, no redeemable qualities. Stuff like, I don't know, Flight Master right now, although I've technically actually seen Flight Master in a deck, but it's the lowest inclusion rate in the meta right now. Maybe Azerite Elemental, Hunting Party, those feel like 1-star cards, right? They just don't have a reason to be played over other things. So I hope that sets the standard for what I think these things mean. And clearly, it's still subjective. Like, there's no objective measure. We could just go by like inclusion percentages and say anything over 10 is 5 stars, anything from 7 to 10 is 4 stars, right? Like, there's ways to do that. But I don't really want to do that. I want it to be subjective because at the end of the day, none of this matters. There's nothing at stake. We're not determining any sort of scientific processes off of this. It's just whatever feels right. So subjectivity is the correct way to do it because it's our opinions. And I want you guys to help me to define these opinions. But anyway, that sets the standard. So now let's go through these and talk about the cards individually to see how correct we were. And this is review number 1, starting off with, it looks like our buddy Archvillain Rafam. Archvillain Rafam is a 4-star card. Okay, I think that's fair. I mean, frankly, right now, Rafam is not a 4-star card. I think it's pretty bad in Zoo. But another thing I should talk about is time spans. For me, when I'm looking at card reviews, I'm looking at the card's existence in entirety, not in a given meta. I'm looking at its potential within a standard format rotation. So honestly, we need to do re-reviews at the very end of every standard format rotation to say, like, okay, now that this card's had its full time, did it get to that level or not? As of now, at some point, Archvillain Rafam was a 4-star card. Is it today? No. Will it be in the future? I honestly don't think so, but it was. It was a 4-star card in Zoo. Zoo is a very popular deck. It was a big part of that deck, so it made the cut. Today, I think it's probably a 2-star card, but it did satisfy the conditions of, at one time, being a 4-star card. So technically, this prediction was correct. Like, this review was right. It's just not right today, and I don't think it'll be right moving forward. I think Rafam is like a 3 or 2-star card, maybe 2.5, arguably, moving forward. But this was still what I would call a correct review, because it was at one point, at any given point in its lifespan, a 4-star card. Chef Nomi is a 3-star card. Nomi, I think, actually was another card that got to 4 stars. Nomi Priest was a pretty popular deck there for a little while. This is still being played a lot in like Tempo Rogues. Well, not a lot, but a little bit in Tempo Rogues. So I think Nomi should have been a 4-star card, not a 3-star card. Is it a 3-star card today? Probably, yeah, but at one point in its lifespan, this was a 4-star card. So we probably underrated this one a little, but as I've said in the past, as long as we're directionally correct and within a star, basically, I feel like we're close. So Nomi is, by the standards of the review, a 4-star card, but today, probably accurately a 3-star card, I would argue. But certainly, that's a close review. We saw the potential in Nomi that existed. Calicos is a 3-star card. No, Calicos is a 4-star card, definitely. I'm sad I underrated Calicos. A lot of people liked Calicos more than me. I thought he was going to be too slow. And he is in some ways. Conjurer's Calling has really opened up what's possible for this guy, but he's being played in a handful of decks. So Calicos, definitely a 4-star card. Calicos is a 3-star. We were directionally correct, but underrated this one a little. I think chat agrees Calicos is a 4. Some of you guys think Nomi was 4. I don't know about that. Well, he was, but I don't know if he is today. He doesn't have Nomi Priest driving him today, so I think he feels more like a 3-star card today, Nomi. But Calicos is definitely a 4-star card. Evil Miscreant is a 3-star card. No, Evil Miscreant's actually maybe a 5-star card. I think there's a pretty strong argument Miscreant was definitely a 5-star card before the nerfs to Tempo Rogue, before Waggle pick nerfs. He was just so good, so dominant everywhere on ladder. And still remains a 4-star card today. Evil Miscreant's being played in like 13% of decks today. It's the 3rd most popular card from Rise of Shadows. So definitely 4+, arguably 5 at one point. So this one I think we actually decidedly underrated. I don't really think we were within a star here. I think we were 1.5 to 2 stars off. So this one was a miss. I did not think there would be that much potential in Lackeys or in Miscreant, probably. I have a feeling we probably underrated a handful of Lackey cards, but this one we were definitely under on. I don't know if anybody's keeping track of like how many we got right versus wrong. Like, I would say up until this, we didn't get anything wrong. We got some close. This one, I think we were wrong. I think we underrated this. So this is like our first underrated. If somebody wants to keep a tally, I would love that. I'd appreciate that, but if you don't have to, if you don't want to, don't worry about it. Card. Agatha Scheme is a 2-star card. No, Agatha Scheme is probably a 4-star card, actually. Yeah, probably a 4-star card. I think 3 is an argument right now, but I think 4 definitely at one point, Regis? And probably in the future too.
Regis and Regis action start.
Hey, stop getting your fanfics out. Stop getting your fanfics out, Pyro. Agatha Scheme is 4 stars. 3.5 to 4. So this is another one we missed. We underrated Agatha Scheme. I thought schemes would take way too long to snowball, but it turns out they're not that bad with Agatha Scheme. Some of them do, but Agatha Scheme in particular is not that bad. Sometimes just for 2 or 3 it feels good anyway. The top deck problem is not as big of a deal in a deck that has a lot of options to play stuff, which is what happens when you play a control shaman deck. It has a lot of choices, so you don't have to stress about top decks as much. So definitely better than 2 stars. We underrated this one. I think 4 is a reasonable claim. 3.5 probably is exactly where I'd put it right now, but definitely missed the mark. The Forest Aid is a 2-star card. Yeah, 4-star card, easy. Maybe even an argument for a 5-star card, frankly. Honestly.
There's more where this came from if you can.
I don't know how we can. We've done that before, by the way. Like, that has happened on stream, but he's a little far away. I'll just reach for. No, I'll just reach for him. Hey, buddy. Oh. No. All right. 4-star card for for Force 8. And oh, by the way, Dr. Fritz, thank you for 500 bits, dude. It's crazy. Hey, Shamanist, how's it going, man? How's it going? Force 8, I thought this would be way too slow. I thought it would be... Because, you know, I compared it to, like, Living Mana, and it's like, Living Mana was good because you get it on turn 5, and that's influential at that point, you know? But I thought 8 mana is so late in the game. The thing I didn't see was the meta is slow enough with Token Druid. In other words, Token Druid presents enough consistent threats throughout the game that nothing overwhelms them, that they have time to get to Forest Aid, at which point they're always a little bit ahead and their opponent's always a little behind because they've maintained a consistent series of pressure points, that they have the luxury to play this without getting overwhelmed. And then they have these like infinite reload opportunities, right? Pseudo infinite. They get 5, 6, 7, 8 reloads throughout the course of the game, where Forest Aid actually is really, really valuable. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think they'd be able to continue that pressure, because the way we saw Token Druid played in the past was like that Patches, Pirate, Firefly list way back in the day, and they kind of petered out, right? Like Living Mana was their last hurrah. I didn't anticipate having so many token options to keep coming and keep coming, that 8 mana was a viable option. And it turns out it was. So total surprise there. 2 stars is way under. I think this is a 4-star card. At one point early on, arguably 5 stars. I think this was a pretty defining card in those early Token Druids. And Token Druid's still playable. Not as good at super high ranks, but still people across Hearthstone are playing a lot of Token Druids successfully. So vastly underrated here. Forbidden Word. And I should make a note too. I think in general, I think there's a tendency to underrate Rise of Shadows cards, because I did not expect them to be such an influential part of the meta. A rotation happened, so I thought there would be a vacuum where a lot of stuff became playable, but I thought it would be from Rastakhan's and Boomsday and Witchwood. I didn't expect Rise of Shadows to eclipse those so significantly. So I think way more cards from Rise of Shadow are seeing play than I ever expected. I thought it would be a more diverse set where all the expansions filled in that gap, but it's really been mostly Rise of Shadows. Like Rastakhan has barely showed up at all. So I think that's probably going to point towards a lot of underrated cards in this set, because it was hard to envision which expansions would take off. Words is a 3-star card. Yeah, Forbidden Words is not a card we see a lot, but Priest just isn't being seen a lot right now. I think Forbidden Words is probably right now a 3-star card. 2.2% inclusion rate. Yeah, that sounds like a 3-star card to me. I do think it has a little bit more potential, though. I think this could eventually one day move up to a 4-star card. I think it still remains a nice, flexible, interesting removal card. So I suspect this might be one we eventually underrate. This could see play in a good Priest deck if Priest comes around. But 3.5 to 4 would, I think, be the max upside on this from my perspective at the moment. But 3 stars right now seems absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And Spell Ward Jeweler is a 2-star card. Yeah, that's right so far. Yeah, arguably even maybe a 1-star card right now. But it's a 3-mana 3/4, so it's not like a thing that actively punishes you or you can't afford to run. I saw somebody tech this into a deck somewhere recently. So 2 stars is completely fine. There's not enough OTK right now for this to be played. It's kind of sneaky in like OTK Paladin counters, but that's just not big enough on the ladder. If something pops up where, you know, an OTK deck with targeted damage becomes powerful, you might see this thing creep up in play rate a little bit. But for now, I doubt it ever exceeds 3 stars, and 2 stars completely feels fine. And okay, so that was part 1. Now we need to go to part 2. Regis from the road. I think I was like out of town for this one, so okay. Oh yeah, I know where I was. I was doing my photo shoot for Omen or whatever. Did I not do is a 3-star.
Welcome.
I don't know here. We gotta figure this out.
Take some room
I don't
by the
know.
hearth, won't ya?
James Zuva, dude, 21 months. Thank you, man. Somewhere down the line, it's certainly going to see some degree of competitive play. All that said, that wraps it up for my detailed reviews. Now let's jump into the. I guess I just didn't have graphics for these. Swamp Queen Agatha is a 3-star card. No, I think Agatha. Well, yeah. I mean, she definitely feels good to play. She's a high impact card. I think 4 stars is totally fair for Swamp Queen Agatha. There hasn't really been a. I mean, she showed up in even like Murloc Shaman. So yeah, 4 stars is fair. 4 stars is better than 3 for Agatha. I think we underrated her a little. I don't think 3 is crazy off. I think she feels like a 3.5-star card, to be honest with you. So I think we were close on this one. This is not one I'd consider we got wrong, but I'd say 4 instead of 3 technically right now, or 3.5, rounding up a little. Waggle Scheme is a 4-star card. Oh, only 2 cards in this review apparently. Waggle Scheme is 3 stars, I would say, right now. Well, it's actually in 6% of decks at the moment, which feels like a 4-star number, but I think it's only really being played significantly in Pogo Rogue. No, actually, it's still being played in some Tempo Rogue lists. Yeah, if it's being played in Tempo Rogue and Pogo Rogue, I think 4 stars is actually fair. It's in almost 6% of decks right now. It's putting it in like the top 10 or 15 cards for the expansion. Yeah, I would say 4 stars is sort of reasonable. And I messed up my thing. Hold up. Rise of Shadows. Yeah, it's like a top 10 card almost. It's kind of crazy. Huh. Well, no, hold up. No, not really top 10. No, never mind. Probably top 20, 25. Well, look at the win rate when drawn. We can't go by just win rates because it's more about popularity, really. I mean, a lot of cards aren't that good, or the worst card in a deck can still get played. So I don't know. I agree with you that it's not a particularly good card, but when we talk about like star ratings, I think we have to talk about meta significance more than like raw power level of things, because then you start getting into these really detailed things where it's like, well, like with Rafam even, right? Like Rafam got played a ton, but it was probably not very good. Does that mean Rafam wasn't a 4-star card? I don't know. I think it was at one point. So I don't want to get into like when we're doing these sort of post hoc analyses where we're looking at how close we were to its meta significance. I don't want to get too much into like, well, this card actually sucks, but people are playing it. That's the fun argument, a fun thing to talk about. But I think we're really more looking at like how accurate were we predicting whether or not this thing would see play. You know what I mean? Like this rating is more about like, is it used, right? Is it being used in the meta? But I don't know. I think 4 still feels a little too good for this, I'll say. Although it has been pretty cool in some like Togwaggle Tempo Rogues where you put in a bunch of Togwaggles. If it was only Pogo Rogue, I'd say this is more meme and it is kind of bad and people are just playing Pogo Rogue for fun and like maybe we do get a little crazier subjective there, even more subjective than we already are. So I don't know, 3.5 to 4 is probably where I'd land. 3.5 really, but a 4-star rating, I think it will eventually be 4 stars at some level. So we're close. We're close. This one we're close on. I know that got a little crazy, that conversation there. I don't know that we.
It's Regis from the road again.
Regis in the road. I'm wearing makeup in these videos. Oh, this is where it's. Oh no, this is where it got frozen. Oh yeah, this is where my webcam froze, and I was just
working right now.
and I couldn't re-record it because I didn't have time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it is. There you go. Spam the emotes. There it is.
Go, folks. That wraps it up for the detailed reviews. Now let's jump into the quick reviews. Oblivitron is a 3-star card.
Yeah, I think actually he was. Oblivitron's being played pretty early in the meta. I don't know if he ever got to 4-star status though. 3.5 I think is fair, but certainly 3 is close enough. I think this card could still be played at some point. But that said, we already have like these really mech-driven hunters, and I don't know. Is he just gonna sneeze? I don't know if we already have such a mech-driven meta that this is ever going to get better. So I do wonder if it's going to get to anything above 3 stars. But you guys think 3 is fair for this, right? Looks like some people in chat are saying 3. 3.5, arguably. Does this have a chance to be included in the future? I mean, maybe if the meta shifts a little bit and 100 needs to go more value-oriented. But I suspect we're not going to see any bigger, better Death Rattle mechs than we already have. Most Death Rattle mechs are early to mid-game. And I think it needs that, mechanical whelp style stuff to drive this, because I think this is way better in the late game. Is there going to be another big mechanical whelp style card? I doubt it. But if so, it's certainly got some potential possibility.
A 3-star card. Lazuli Scheme is a 2-star card.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's really tough with Priest right now to say, because Priest just isn't being played a whole lot in a control fashion, which these control decks utilize. This was played a fair bit in Nomi Priest, I suppose, and Nomi Priest was a relevant meta deck for a moment there. So perhaps this achieved 3-star status for a while. I don't think it's a 3-star card today. It's a 2-star card today, but at one point it did probably achieve 3-star status. So we're close. I think this has a possibility still. But it being a scheme is a pretty big challenge. I don't think this ever moves beyond a 3-star card in the future. But 2 to 3 is a fine. A lot of you guys are saying 1-star. I don't know if I'd go that far. It got played in Nomi Priest. With Auctioneer, it's powerful even at its base level, just as a 0-mana spell. The inclusion rate for this today is 0.5%. And I'm sure it was like maybe 1.5%, 2% when Nomi was around. So certainly not above 3 stars by any argument, I don't think. But 2 is completely reasonable as well. So these are some short ones, man. Part 4. Rise of Shadow. Hey, we're back to Real Regis. Okay, cool. Missed the graphics. Nice. Had some quick reviews. Rafam's Scheme is a 3-star card. No, Rafam's Scheme is a 2-star card for sure right now. But I'll tell you what, we have already seen a potential of this card in wild format where it makes you think it could actually be better. So I do like that this review holds some upside there. Because it is used in Darkest or Warlock, exactly, yeah. And that does imply it has some sort of fundamental merit to it, where if the things line up, it could be played. In standard format right now, though, it definitely feels more like a 1.5 to 2-star card. And we are sticking to standard format, so it has not gotten close to 3 stars yet. Most of you guys are saying 1s and 2s. 2, I think we overrated this currently. For now, this has been overrated. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope, though. I think it has a chance. Because of the wild format aspect. Like, in wild, it worked at some level, so can it work in standard? Maybe. Omega Devastator is a 4-star card. Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made that Devastator is trending pretty closely towards 5 stars. What do you guys think? It's currently the second most... No, it is the most played card in Rise of Shadows over the last day. So currently, as of today, it is the most popular Rise of Shadows card. Which to me makes an argument for 5 stars. It's also just a very good card. It feels so good to play. And it's in, a couple of very, very prominent versions of Warrior, both meta at a ladder level and at a tournament level. So the only reason I'm hesitant to say it's not 5 stars is because it's not defining of the deck. Like, the deck could exist without it, right? It would be a little worse, but it's not like it's not the staple which defines the deck's strategy necessarily. But it's so good and so just pervasive, I guess. It's everywhere, that I think 5 stars is a fair case to make for it. I'd say 4.5 if I'm being totally true to my internal compass for ratings. I'd say 4.5, which I don't know if that means much, but 4 to 5 is certainly right. We saw some potential in this card. It's probably better than I expected, but I mean, we're close at 4 stars. Improve. A lot of you guys say 5, a lot of you say 4, so. Morale is a 3-star. Brew Morale, 3 stars. I don't think we've really seen evidence for that yet, right? I think it certainly looks like a 2-star card right now. Despite Lackey's prominence, improved morale, it's just not... It's trending upward over the last day for some reason. There must be some deck out there, but still very, very low. Less than 1% inclusion rate. 3 stars currently feels overrated. I do think there's still potential for this. I think it could easily achieve 3 stars. We know Lackeys are strong. Particularly as we've heard new Lackeys are going to be added to the pool of Lackeys, which means potentially in the future there's a Lackey that lines up really well with Warrior somehow. Could get worse too, we don't know. But I think 2 stars right now is totally fair for improved morale. And although we were close, probably a little overrated at the moment. But I think this will hit 3 stars. Card. And there you go. Man, these were really short reviews. I only do 1 per day, so this just must have been a very low amount of cards coming out. Just because you need the Lackeys for your... Pretty sure I underrated Evil Cable Rat. I seem to remember thinking that card was bad. Okay. Blastmaster Boom is a 4-star card. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, again, this is actually a card you can make a case for 5 stars, much like Devastator. Maybe even more so than Devastator, because it is really fundamental to the core of the deck, which is like, it's a bomb deck. The reason bombs are good is not only because of Blastmaster Boom, but he certainly helps a lot. And he is often a game-winning turn when you play him as well, particularly if you already have Boom, Mad Genius, and these things have Rush. So I would not be at all upset at a 5-star claim. I think that's completely reasonable. I don't think it's like a lock. I'd say like a 4.8 or something, right? Like really, really close. I don't think it's like Conjurer's Calling to me is a lock 5-star card. Like it's so defining. And a lot of neutral cards I think are easier for me to get to 5 stars too. But certainly close to 5. 5 is fair. 4 is actually underrating it a little technically. I mean, we within our 1-star rating, like sure we're there, but close. But 5 stars is fine. 4.8. Let's say that. Clockwork Goblin is a 3-star card. No, Clockwork is definitely at least 4 stars. Again, maybe 4.6 or something. I'd almost trend it closer to 5 than 4, to be honest. But 4 is certainly fair. But the only reason it's close to 5 for me is because it is actually one of the core pieces for setting up bombs, right? And Bomb Warrior is defined by its bombs. So it does feel like a fundamentally important card in some ways. Most of you guys are saying 4. I'm certainly fine with that. 3 is under for sure. I think 3 is actually decidedly underrating this card because it's over 4. We're not really within a star here, right? Because it's actually better than 4 in my mind. We're kind of like a 1.5 stars off. So I think definitely 4, arguably even higher. Most of you say 4. I'm surprised you guys aren't pushing harder for this one. But 3 is under. 3 is underrating it. Calibre is a 3-star card. Literally the exact same feedback as Clockwork Bomb. Clockwork Goblin. It's the exact same. 3 is underrated for sure. It's a 4-star card right now at least. I might argue it's more like a 4.4 than Clockwork Goblin because the mech aspect of Goblin actually is very relevant to it. But Calibre is an awesome card, better than 3 stars. It's a 4+ star card. I should start saying like 4+, 3+ instead of like 4.5 because that's sort of arbitrary. But this is a 4+. 4+. Evil Cable Rat is a 2-star card. No, I knew I missed this one. I think 4+ again. Evil Cable Rat is played in a couple different decks. Tempo Rogue, Token Druid. Lackeys are awesome. This is a 4+. It's not a 5-star card, I don't think, even though it's very popular and a neutral card, which is often the sorts of things that push a card towards 5. But let's see. Cable Rat is currently in 12.2% of decks. Man, it's actually a top 5 card. Huh. Man, 5 stars is not insane for this card, honestly. I just don't think it's high impact enough. Like, it's not the card that wins you the game or defines your deck. But it is sort of looking like that Ziliax style where it's super up there, right? It's just so high up. I think 4, 5 is the range. 4+ for sure. We drastically underrated this one. This was a big miss. I thought a 1/1 for 2 mana would just be too slow in itself. I didn't anticipate Lackeys being so swingy and having so many extra additional synergies that it would make up for the fact that the stats on this card were bad. But it has. decks just don't care. And then when you have like Battlecry synergies like Sharks and stuff out there, it gets even better. So I'm still a little shocked how good this card is, but it has been good. I mean, even playing it, it feels good to play most of the time. So the consistency of it in some ways, like just having multiple cards attached to one, having a flexible 2-mana thing to do, all of that makes it worth it. But I'm stunned. I really didn't think that card would get there. Dr. Boom's Scheme is a 2-star card. Now, I got a lot of flack for this at the time, giving this 2 stars. And I probably will now, even. Is a 2-star. This is another one of those cards where it's like, yes, it is very bad. It is clearly not good. Right? We know that Dr. Boom's Scheme is not good. But I still think there's some world where this has some playability. I mean, I don't know what that world is, but there's just, because it can get so big, it has this scalability that is really, really hard to define. And yes, 99% of the time it looks like it's useless because it takes forever to become a reasonable card. But because of that scalability, I just can't write it off completely. I just think, well, I don't know. Maybe there's something that says, I don't know, double the impact of your spells or something, right? Or like, I don't know, right? It's very unlikely. But it does not feel like a totally hopeless card to me. It just doesn't feel like a totally, totally hopeless card. And that's why I gave it 2 stars instead of 1. Because I saw some glimmer of potential, some tiny little baby hope. Right now, it's definitely not a 2-star card. It's a 1-star card at the moment. Like, it's really bad. But I think there's still a chance. I don't think this ever goes beyond a 3-star card in any world. Even if there's something that says like your spells are free and like they have double the effect, I still don't think it becomes like a core card for any deck, but certainly 1 is fine. 1+ arguably here. Card. Heist Baron Togwaggle is a 5-star card. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. What do you guys think on Togwaggle? Is a 5. I think 4+ is probably really the most fair assessment right now, but it's sure close to 5, I feel like. It's especially pre-nerf. It's still in almost 8% of decks. It's probably in the top 12 or 13. It looks like cards for Rise of Shadows, and it was being played even more than that pre-nerf. Like Tempo Rogue was pretty nuts. But I don't really think it ever became so meta-defining, because I really think Waggle Pick and Raiding Party and Dread Corsair were the reason Tempo Rogue was so good, because some lists were cutting Togwaggle, and if you can cut it, I don't think it's a 5-star card, right? It just doesn't get there. If it's able to be cut, it's not a 5-star card. So I think 4+ is really the answer here. It's still a solid card. Certainly was very meta relevant, but a lot of people would have called this a 5-star card, by the way. A lot of people would, but I don't think it is. I think it's 4+. Tempo Rogue didn't run Tog pre-nerf all that often. Well, actually they did. It just, some didn't. But there was so much Tempo Rogue, and a lot of it ran Togwaggle. I bet he was at 15-20% inclusion rate at some points. Because Tempo Rogue, remember, was like a third of the meta for a while there. So even half of Tempo Rogues means this still got played a ton. It was a big debate, right? Like, it was a heated, do we play Togwaggle, do we don't? But like I said, a lot of people cut him. Like, I played some lists without Togwaggle too, and that implies he's not 5 stars. He's not 5 stars. No, Ziliax is definitely 5 stars. There's no question in the world that Ziliax is a 5-star card. 5-star card. No Clan Burglar is a 3-star card. Yeah, there was a while there when the Thief package early in the meta was taken off. I thought this looked like a 4-star card, but 3 stars is pretty fair. Is pretty fair. 4+? What? Okay, we're on different pages on Burglar. It's in 6.8% of decks right now. I mean, I guess actually that does sound like 4 stars, honestly. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It does sound about like 4. I don't think it's 4+ though. I think it's like 3.8. You know, like I actually think it leans a little closer to 3 than 4, but it's got a pretty decent inclusion rate. So 4 is fair. I think 4 is fair. You guys are right. 4 is fair. It's in 100% of rogue decks. Apparently not, because it gets played a percentage point less than Togwaggle. So there's at least 1% there difference, we know. Those are both rogue cards. Miscreant gets put in 12.7% of rogue decks. So Miscreant is included twice as often as Burglar. So I mean, clearly, if we're giving Miscreant 4 stars, then Burglar doesn't feel like a 4-star card too. But I think Miscreant's close to 5 and Burglar's close to 4 is my take. So I would say 3.8 or something, like 3.7 or something, right? Like doesn't quite get to 4 for me, but it rounds up to 4. So we underrated a little, but we're close. I mean, that's within range. Unidentified Contract is a 3-star card. No, not really. It's a 2-star card right now, which is funny because I remember a lot of people be yelling at me about this one. They thought I underrated this card pretty drastically. And it turns out I probably overrated this card of anything. It's barely played ever. I don't think I've really seen it played any. I think it has some potential. But the problem is inconsistency, right? Like there are a couple really good rolls on these unidentified effects, and some of them are just weak. So 2 stars is fair right now. It might get a 3-star someday, but I doubt it. I think Rogue will have better options for removal than this. I think it'll probably stay at 2 stars. Traveling Healer is a 2-star card. Yeah, sure. I think that's completely reasonable. Should have gave Khadgar more. I'm sad. I can't get this frozen. Healer is a 2. There we go. 2 stars. Yeah, I don't think this will ever move beyond 2 stars. I just don't think it stands out enough. It's a little expensive for like a flex heal. The body Divine Shield is not going to be that important to a deck that's looking for healing. I think this will always stay at 2 stars. Some of you are saying 1. I think 1 is fair. It doesn't really feel like a 1-star card to me. I don't know how to define that necessarily. I don't really think it'll ever see constructed play. So maybe 1 is fair. 1+, 1.5. Regardless, I mean, pretty weak. Star card. Khadgar is a 4-star card. I think Khadgar is actually a 5-star card, which is rare for me to say that class cards are 5-star cards, but I think he's defining enough. The meta and Mage have completely shifted around how Khadgar works. He is game winning when he's played often. I think this is a 5-star card. If we have a 5-star card in a class card, Khadgar is the epitome of that, as is Conjurer's Calling. Very popular, has shaped the meta around him. Feels like a 5-star card. I think 5 is exactly right. People hated Khadgar too. Yeah, a lot of people gave me flack for overrating Khadgar. So weird. A lot of people thought Khadgar was going to be weak. I don't know. I just saw a lot of potential, but a lot of people thought his stat line was bad, and they wanted Khadgar to be like a bigger, cooler thing, which I get. Like, Khadgar is such an iconic Warcraft character. You want him to be like an 8/8 and be like a neutral card and like all that. Without him, does the Conjuring deck get worse? Oh, definitely, I think. Yeah, sometimes you just straight up win the game with Khadgar. It probably loses 3 to 4 percentage points, I bet, without Khadgar. You would not want to cut Khadgar. Like, it might still be a playable deck, but you wouldn't want to cut him. It's only 5 because of calling. Well, that's fine. A lot of cards are only good because of other cards. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how Hearthstone works. It is a game where fundamentally there are 30 cards in your deck, so. I think that's completely reasonable. All right, Power of Creation is a 3-star card. Yeah, actually, probably so. It's one of those cards. I think you can make an argument for 4. Let's look at the stats. It doesn't get played a lot anymore, but it did for a while. There was definitely a point where it felt like a 4-star card. It was trending towards 4, but I think 3 is really where it landed. I don't think it ever became the go-to way to do it, so I don't think it ever got to 4. It was being played at like 7-8% at one point, but for a very short window, and then it has trended down ever since. I think that was more about experimentation. 3 minus? No, I think 3 is okay. I think 3 is dead on. I wouldn't say 3 plus or 3 minus. I think 3. I think 3 is a pretty good mark actually. Messenger Raven is a 4-star card. No, I don't think so. 3-star card. Messenger Raven is a. I gotta get better at timing the spaces here. I mean, Messenger Raven is, I think, a solid card. It feels good. It's been played some, but it's definitely not being played at a 4-star rate. I think 3 stars is 3 minus even maybe is fair for Messenger Raven. It's currently in 1.9% of decks, which actually that's higher than I expected even. But I think 3 or 3 minus, 2 plus, whatever you want to call it, is fair. I think we probably decidedly overrated this one for now because I think it's actually under 3 at the moment, or 3 at the minimum. But this is a card I think actually will still have potential in the future, right? Like, you know, stats aren't terrible for a 3-drop, and it's a big value generator, and Mage can certainly play some value decks. So keep an eye on this one. I'm sure moving forward, I think it'll move towards 4. I think it'll move towards 4. Okay. What was that? Part 5. So let's go to part 6. Geppetto Joybuzz. Oh, this is a big one. Whoa. Our detailed reviews. Now let's jump into the quick reviews. Okay. This is exhausting for some reason. Joybuzz is a 4 stars for Geppetto. Yeah, I think that's actually right now. He's being played quite a bit in sort of freeze conjurer mage stuff. He was also played in a handful of different combo decks. Just, I don't know. Like, there's a shaman deck popping up we looked at today he's popping into. Warriors run him sometimes. He's just, as a neutral card, he's got that flexibility that he is showing up in a handful of different things. There was like the Malagos Hunter early on that he popped into. I think like 3.8 is where I would really nail him down if I had to like pick a spot. So maybe not quite 4, maybe like 4 minus, but 4 is within reason. A lot of you guys are saying 3, 4. And I think he'll remain at that level. I think he's just got that flexibility that a lot of decks can figure out a way to use him. So I don't think he'll ever achieve 5. He might fall off in some metas here and there, but I think he's a card to keep in mind forever. The Raisa Windrunner is a 3-star card. Yeah, I mean, if I was looking just today, I'd say Varisa's a 2-star card, I think. Yeah, she's only being played in 0.3% of decks right now today, so I would say 2-star card today. But there was that point really early in the meta where she was being played in Malagos Hunter. And that was not a super popular deck, but it was relevant. So I would definitely say 2 plus, maybe even like 3 minus, which is what's the difference, right? I don't know. We're making up lots of weird rules. It's never played ever. No, not true. No, it was being played in a Malagos Spell Damage Hunter early in the meta. In fact, I can show you the stats. She was in over 1% of decks for a bit there. I don't even have all the way back to early in the expansion to be higher. I can only go back to April 18th. But it was a fringe deck, definitely. Fringe deck. So not a 3-star card by that deck alone, I don't think. So that's why I'm saying like 2 plus, 3 minus. But I think this card actually still has a chance. There's a lot of raw damage bundled into this. Oh my god, we were talking about whether you'd give me a snack or not on stream. You redeemed yourself. Wow. That is a big old gooey butter cake. Holy crap, holy, that looks delicious, man. Thank you, boo. I'm not going to eat that now, probably, but as soon as my stream is done. You're just lingering. Do you have something to show me or something? Okay. You're just kind of lingering. Not tacos, no, just the gooey butter cake. So anyway, I think this card has potential as a raw damage output. It's just kind of slow, right? If she was like 6 mana or 5 mana, she'd be so much better, obviously, like every card. But I mean, she'd be incrementally way more better than you'd expect for a 1 mana discount or a 2 mana discount, right? Like she wouldn't get 1 mana better. She'd get like 5 times better. So show us the butter cake. Well, I mean, it's just inside of there. I don't know if you can see it. It's like a. It doesn't look very appetizing, does it? I don't know. It's not much there. Anyway, 2 plus, I'd say 2 plus. Unleash the Beast is a 3-star card. Can we rate my hair? My hair is just not cut right now. Probably looks worse, but
you're
probably
killing
similar.
Me, Smalls.
Sorry, Pyro, dude. Sorry, Pyro. Unleash the Beast is definitely a 4-star card, no question. Very, very good. Played in Hunter a ton. 3 is underrating it a little. 4+ even, I'd say. 4+. Very, very good card. 4 stars, everybody says 4. Yeah, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Completely agree. Easy 4. Deathbone says 5. I don't think it gets to 5. I think Hunter would be only marginally impacted if you swapped in a different card. I don't think this is the card that wins you the game or like defines the deck. The deck wouldn't build itself differently without Unleash the Beast, right? And it's not there. It just doesn't get to 5 to me. Keeper, but that's an underrated. Steladris is a 4-star card. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know if Steladris feels like a 4-star card today, but certainly very prominent in early Token Druid. And they're actually still 3% today, so yeah, I think 4 is completely fine. I don't think it feels anywhere close to 5, so 4 is right on for me. 3+, and people are saying, hey, Barack Slowbama, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. I love the name, man. Good name. I missed a sub from Yellow earlier, too, maybe. Oh, boy. And Jacob Strong. I'm sorry, guys, if so. Shoot. I feel bad. Maybe I got those. I don't know. But 4 is totally reasonable, and I think this card remains a 4-star card for a while. It's got that flexibility to keep being played. Just all kinds of different decks could run this successfully. Bronze Herald is a 3-star card. No, I think Bronze Herald's a 2-star card, Regis. I don't think we've seen any evidence yet that this becomes a 3-star card. Some people were testing it out early, but it just never got there yet. Maybe even 2- right now. It's barely being played at all. It's 0.2%. Nobody's even testing it, so 2-, 2 is fair, a little over on 3. I don't even really think this will ever get to 3. If there's some dragon deck that pops up, maybe, but the value is just not enough to make up for the speed at which the value is achieved. In other words, playing understated minion here, and then you get 2 more understated minions. And all in, you have 11 mana of stuff that's all understated. Nobody wants to spend 11 mana on understated stuff. So there's other cards that give you more value and better tempo, so there's not really a reason to play Bronze Herald that I can see. Even without the glow, even with glow tech, I don't think so. Yeah, that's what you're saying, Ben Conroy. I agree. Dragon Speaker is a 3-star card. Same problem with Speaker. I mean, I think Speaker is also a 2-star card, but I'll say that I think this one has a little bit more potential than the other one. I think the other one is always going to be trapped by its tempo. I think this one isn't as punishing from tempo standpoint. Like, you're okay to spend, because it scales better, right? Like, the Herald is always just 2 dragons, and they're always 4 mana 4/4s. Dragon Speaker, you could have 10 dragons in hand, right? And it could be 30-30 in stats. Or you could have 2 dragons in hand, it's 6/6, but it has some scalability, it has more upside, it has more potential. So, although certainly a 2- card right now, I think there is a day where this could be a 3+ or a 4-star card if a Dragon Paladin deck pops in there. But I don't think Herald is used even in a Dragon deck. But I think this one is possible. And I don't think they necessarily have to go together, right? Like, fundamentally, they're kind of built to go together. But definitely a 2- card today. Never Surrender is a 4-star card. Not in Standard, no. In Wild format, yes, it's amazing. Which does indeed imply that it has some fundamental characteristics that are good. So maybe in Standard format it will get there eventually. But it has the Paladin Secret problem, right? Where Paladins just aren't playing secrets in Standard format because they don't have enough synergy. Now, there has been a Secret Paladin deck that's popped up, including like the mech hybrid one that was early in the expansion that was halfway decent. People were laddering with it. It was like a tier 2 deck, tier 3. But that's not around right now, and it didn't last, and it wasn't really that good. So I don't think we can give too much merits on that. Unlike, so for instance, like Rafam, we gave the benefit of the doubt. Kazoo was around for a while, like months, until the nerfs, and was really popular. Unlike this, which wasn't that popular and wasn't around that long. So it doesn't kind of get the bump. So it was never really a played card. So I think this is a 2-star card in Standard right now. Again, great in Wild, but we're looking at Standard specifically. So this has been underrated thus far. And do I think this will see play in the future? Honestly, no. I really don't think this one's going to get there. I just don't think secrets are. Because we got the really big secret package in Rise of Shadows, right? We got Commander Raisa. We got the Sun Fury secret person. And it didn't get there. And the weapon Mysterious Blade or whatever. So if those didn't get it there, I don't think it's gonna get more support, and I don't think it's ever gonna get over the hump. So probably 2 stars. We did do the wild bundle, yes. It sucked. I didn't get a single legendary in 56 packs. Not one legendary. Blessing is actually played beyond 2 stars, which really, really surprises me. I thought this one was gonna be way too low impact and slow. Like I thought you just want to run healing cards. But it is being played in some mech decks, and I think maybe even some OTK decks. I've seen it here and there, but mostly the mech paladins are running it. And it's a 3.4% inclusion rate right now. So definitely 3+ or even close to 4 on this one, but probably 3+ is what I'd say for Lightforged Blessing right now. Not a 2-star card. 3+. I think we underrated this one a little bit. So maybe you're still saying 2+, but I've seen this in a lot of mech paladin lists, like the hand buff mech paladin stuff. I think you got to give this the nod for 3 at least, and arguably 3+. So missed the mark a little. Close, but card. I don't think we saw enough attention. 4-star card. Yeah, so I want to talk about Lazuli. I want to talk about Lazuli. Lazuli is a 4-star. Because I gave this 4 stars, but in my heart, I knew it was a 2-star card. I do this sometimes when I do reviews. If I have time, which doesn't always happen, and I hear enough community input, sometimes I let it sway me. I let people talk me into ratings that I don't like. And I'll bump a card just it's not like a choice where I'm doing it to, bow to the community opinion or whatever, but just instinctually or subconsciously, you let people influence you. And I knew this was a 2-star card, and I bet if you even listen to my commentary on this card, I bet I'm trashing it. I bet I'm talking it down some. You not only see the card you're getting, but you see 2 other cards in their hand, so suddenly a large chunk of their hand is visible to you. Maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. Let's see. Identify whether or not they have. Often kind of bring a copy of a card in your opponent's deck can still be good because you're getting a cool reason for Madame Lazuli is that it's not really disrupting your opponent so much as adding opportunities to you. So she doesn't give you a way to win the game. She kind of just helps you follow along whatever your opponent's doing. And I think we've seen a lot of the times in Hearthstone's past, at least, decks that are more self-driven find a lot of success. See, I'm kind of trashing it a little bit. Execute, that's better than just being reactive all the time. Reactive decks can have a hard time keeping up with all. Yeah, see, I kind of trashed it a little bit, and then I bumped it up anyway. I'm surprised I didn't give this 4 stars or 3 stars. So it's not a 4-star card. Obviously, we've seen so far. Will it be? I mean, maybe one day if Control Priest, we haven't seen any priest decks that would want to run this. So it's really unfair to say right now that she's not good. She might still get there, but I really had my doubts that she'd be impactful or influential enough to change the course of fate. So right now, definitely a 2-star card. Barely. I don't know. I don't even know if I've ever seen her played, to be honest. Maybe early on when we were first testing stuff out, but honestly, for the most part, I don't think I've ever seen her. So 2-star. Maybe higher potential though. Maybe still some point of value priest. Card. Evil Conscriptor is a 2-star card. Yeah, so far. I do think with Lackeys, Evil Conscriptor could honestly play higher. I think there is a tempo priest deck that might actually like that at some point because Lackeys have been way better than I expected. So this card has more upside to me now than it did when I did the review because I didn't think Lackeys would be that good. But 2 stars is certainly fair for Evil Conscriptor. It's Evil Genius is a 3-star card. Genius today is probably a 3-star card, but there was certainly a long period there where this was a 4-star card. Zoo decks loved this thing. It was amazing in Magic Carpet Zoo. It's still probably good in Magic Carpet Zoo, which is why it's still a 3-star card, but I think this got to 4, and therefore we should probably grade it as 4 because it was impactful for multiple months there, pre-nerf. I say pre-nerf that changed Zoo. It didn't really change Zoo. It just shifted the meta and people kind of forgot about it. It's not as common anymore. So 4 stars is where I would land this card. Probably 4- to be totally specific. But definitely a card that saw meta relevance and saw some play. Hinch Clan Hogseed is a 3-star card. Yeah, it is. I would even say this thing trends towards 4 in some ways. It's been played in a lot of different decks, just kind of tossed in. I don't think as many today, but there have been a lot of decks that just throw this card in there. But I don't think it's gotten to the point where I feel good about calling it a 4-star card. I'm trying to find out where it is here in the... I don't think it's being played much today, unfortunately. Even though I think it's still pretty good. Let me find it. Yeah, 3.5% of decks. So I'd say definitely 3+ on this one. 3 is totally fine. It's still being played. It's been in like Beast Hunter decks. It's been in like I think I put it in Murloc Shaman even. It was pretty good. Some of you guys are saying 4 on this one. That surprises me. Or maybe you're saying 4 for the Evil Genius. I may have lost chat there. I think 3 is reasonable today and probably where this card lives forever. I bet it gets close to 3 always. I don't think it'll ever go to like be a really, really big time. And there you go, folks. So that's a pretty good hit. Part 7, 6, 7. Okay. Mana Cyclone. This should be fun. Commander Raisa is a 4-star card. No, she's not. I think she was a 3-star card there for a minute, and now she's a 2-star card, so I would say 3- 2+ for this one. I think this is a pretty drastic overrate. I got really excited about this card because I saw her at the Blizzard Summit I went to early. You know, I went to the Blizzard Summit and hung out with Blizzard like before the expansion came out. This is one of the cards I remembered, and I was like, oh man, Secret's gonna be amazing. Secret Paladin's gonna be awesome. And like I saw a bunch of Secret, I saw like Mysterious Blade too, and all these Secret package cards. So I was really pumped about them. And I played them in like Dollar and Heist too, early, and I was like, ooh yeah, this is gonna be amazing. It felt really good in Dollar and Heist, but it just didn't translate to Constructed as much. Now, it did see a little bit of play early in the expansion, but it fell off super early, super hard. Just not enough raw impact. Now, of course, a card like this, if secrets get better for Paladin, obviously can get there, but right now, too many secrets don't interact with Raisa, and that's how she's pronounced, by the way, I learned later. And I just think the deck falls apart too quickly because you're too reliant on secrets, so... 2+ is probably the mark right now. I don't think we can give her 3. I think it's 2+. She isn't bad, secrets are. Yeah, I mean, basically, but that's always a weird argument to make, right? Fell Lord Betruger is a 2-star card. Yeah, I think some of you guys are probably going to push for 3 on Betruger for some reason, but I think he's only in 0.3% of decks today. 2 stars is completely reasonable. So, you know, he pops in from time to time, so it doesn't feel like a 1-star card to me. People try to meme on him and stuff. It's not fundamentally bad. And I do think there's still potential for this thing, honestly. I don't think it comes via plot twist, though, if I'm being truthful with you. I think it comes via, like, death rattles or onboard effects that are valuable or just a control warlock. So this, to me, could be a 3-star card someday. This might end up being an underrate eventually, but for now, 2 stars is completely right. Heckle Bhatt is a 3-star card. Yeah, that feels good to me. Heckle Bhatt is one of those like tech cards that sees a little bit of play, but is not meta dominant or like super relevant, but still playable enough. So 3 feels like the exact right mark for Heckle Bhatt. I mean, this is like the epitome of a 3-star card to me. Like it's just right on the nose, right? I don't really ever think it moves off of this either. I think it will always just be a somewhat possible tech card with a mech bias. So particularly like Warriors would love a card like this, but seems perfect. Muk Morpher is a 3-star card. Yeah, it's another one actually I think is a pretty close, perfectly 3-star card. Played in some big Shaman lists, which have been in the meta, but not a tier 1 or tier 2 influence. Some of you are saying 4 for this one. I don't think I'd push Muk Morpher to 4 yet. It's possible that it gets there someday. Because if Control Shaman gets better, it's only in 0.8% of decks right now. It's not even a 1% of decks. It was back in May. It got up to 3.4% when the kind of big Shaman stuff was more popular. But that's not enough for me to give it a 4-star bump. I think 3 is dead on the money on this one. I think it's perfect. I'd say 3 even though I like it more. I kind of like it too more. I'm with you. I hear you. 3 4 stars only if you never low rolled it. That's kind of funny. Are there weebs in chat? Probably
Sludge
some. 300 people here. Is a 3-star card. No, Sludge Slurper is a 4-star card. Sludge Slurper is better than that. Yeah, I'm surprised by this one still too. A lot of people like this card a lot, and I was coming in pretty cool on it. I was saying the overload was punishing, and I think the 1 health was enough. But Lackeys are better than I ever expected, so that's kind of why I missed a star on all these Lackey cards. I feel like every Lackey card I dropped a star, except for some reason Improved Morale, which I liked better, weirdly enough. But this is a 4-star card for sure. It's really, really good. And it's not just good in Murloc decks, it's good in Overload decks. So 4+ is even fair for this one, I'd say. Very good card across the board. Easy 4+. Yeah, we underrated a little. I mean, we're close, but 4+. Crystal Power is a 3-star card. Yeah. Crystal. What do you guys think on this one? 3-star card. 3 feels right to my brain, or to my heart, but I don't know my brain. It's not really being played much. It's only in 0.7% of decks. It's like in heal druids and stuff. Most of you are saying 2. Yeah, I think logically 2 is where it lands. My heart still feels it's at 3, but 2 is definitely the right mark. Some of you are saying 1 even. I'd say 2. Maybe 2+, but not 3 yet. I don't think we've seen evidence this is moving towards 3. That said, I think it could. A lot of flexibility, even outside of a heal-specific synergy deck. The deal 2 damage for 1 is pretty solid anyway. So, I do think this can trend towards 3. Also in Wild with Fandral, it's confusing. It is weird in Fandral, yeah. Card. Crystal Stag is a 4-star card. Definitely not yet. No, I think Crystal Stag does have a lot of potential. Like, from a raw level, 2 4/4s with Rush is crazy good for 5 mana. It's just that synergy so far has not been explored. I think today this is a 2-star card. 2- even, maybe. So we really haven't seen it much at all. But I do have a lot of hope for this one. I think this will eventually be a 4-star card. It's a 4-star card in Priest. Because, you don't have to run like a Lucent Bark deck necessarily. You just need a Druid deck that has healing, and this becomes a good card. Even if it's not a heal synergy deck, just if you have healing. I think there are cards that might like to run this. Why is this 2-star instead of 1 right now? Because it's not a card that's completely hopeless. Like, it doesn't have... Some cards are just totally hopeless, right? So for me, a lot of people don't like my rating systems because 5- and 1-star cards are both really big outliers for me. I have an incredibly sharp curve. Like, here, let me show you what I mean. Like, so, where is my thing to draw on? Hold up. Here we go. I don't want instructions. I want to draw. Okay. So for a lot of people's bell curve, let me make this white so it's easier to see. So a lot of people's bell curves for card ratings look like this. That's not really a good way to do it. They look like this. Shoot, the background's too here. A lot of people's bell curves for card ratings look like this. Okay. And like these are the marks, right? So they'll have, and those are a little off, but they'll have, let's add a little there to make it more obvious. They'll have an equal number of 1, 2, well, not an equal number, but this is actually not really what I want to draw. I want to draw like this. This is what a lot of people's card reviews will look like, right? So imagine this is a chart, right? They'll have like, I don't know, 15 here and 20 here and 25 here and 20 here and 15 here, right? That'll be their distribution, right? So there won't be that big of a difference between the number of cards in the 5-star bucket and the number of cards in the 3-star bucket, right? Like, they'll have pretty much an equal number of cards in each bucket, or close to an equal number of cards. And I drew too many lines there, but you get the idea, right? So, in other words, they don't have outliers. Like, they put a lot of stuff in 1-star. For me, it's more like this, where I might have 5 1-star cards and 5 5-star cards and 40 3-star cards and, I don't know, 25. That's not a 25, but you get the idea. 25 2 and 4-star cards, right? In other words, I don't think that many cards are 1-star cards or 5-star cards. I think those are outliers. I think most cards fall in the middle brackets. So, in other words, 1-star cards have to be really, really bad. And I think I usually have more 1-star cards than 5-star cards, so maybe that's like 10, right? So it'd be like 10, 25, 30, 25, and 5 would be my splits. And I don't know, that may not add up to the right number, right? I'm just arbitrarily making these up. But So instead of 15, 20, 25, 20, 15, mine's 10, 25, 30, 25, 5. So a vast majority of my cards live in the middle. So I'm saying a lot of cards have potential to be played. Not that many are totally hopeless, right? And not that many are like super meta defining either for a given expansion. So yes, my bell curve is more towards what I think a real kind of human distribution for a bell curve is. As opposed, I think most people's bell curves are way too flat. I think most people have bell curves that are really flat when they review cards. Mine are the more traditional bell curve shape. And by the way, I don't even really try to design it that way. Like, I just think that's the way cards distribute. I don't have like some arbitrary reason for that, or I'm not like trying to fit it into that mold. I think that's just based on my perception of cards. That's how they fit. So it's not a thing I'm doing intentionally. Direction. What happens? Is a 2-star card. No, I think Mass Res is a 3-star card. When you guys say so, anyway, Crystal Stag 2. If we didn't say that officially, I think 2 is fair. 2- maybe. Mass Resurrection. Yeah, 1.7%. I mean, there are some Res Priests out there. I think 3 stars right now for Mass Res is right. Whose bell curve are you calling flat? But definitely 3 at least right now, and I do think there's potential on this one. It's better than I expected it to be. I thought it would be too slow. You know, what happened is, right, we compared this to Spellstone. And compared to Spellstone, it looked so much worse. Because Spellstone, you got 4 minions for less mana, and I was like, oh god, it's way worse than Spellstone. But what happened is, right, the meta got worse too. So worse cards can still be good, and comparing everything to that Kobolds and Catacombs power level, it's like, of course we're going to underrate it. Like, obviously, all those cards were insane. All the Spellstones were crazy. So yeah, it looks worse than Spellstone, but that doesn't make it a fundamentally bad card. So we kind of got trapped. And again, all the cards from Rise of Shadows were more popular than I expected because they're better than Rastakhan cards and Boomsday cards and Witchwood cards in a lot of cases. So 3+, definitely, with a potential to trend higher. Ray of Frost is a 2-star Rogue Spellstone. Shut up. You know what I mean by all. Card. No, way better than 2 stars. Way better than 2 stars. Ray of Frost is a 4-star card. It's really, really good. Particularly in combination with Mana Cyclone. Now, I can't say that I hadn't seen Mana Cyclone yet because it's in the same review. So I can't even blame it on that. Way more potential for Ray of Frost than I expected. And I think the reason I didn't understand that this was going to be good is that I don't know why I undervalued freeze effects for their tempo impact, because I usually am really good on that. I'm usually like, oh, freeze effects for tempo are nice. I think I thought just that Mage would have better alternatives. I thought they'd have more options and that this wouldn't make the cut compared to other options. Like, Mage just has a lot of good cheap spells. This one didn't seem to have that home. But Twin Spell, I underestimated the impact of Twin Spell. Really crazy good with Mana Cyclone and other things. So yeah, I missed the mark on this one. I don't know. 4 stars for sure. It's really, really good. Wild, standard, everywhere. It's a great card. It's good on its own. It's good with synergies. It's just a good card. Mana Cyclone is a 4-star card. 4+, definitely. I think there's a fair argument to be made that Mana Cyclone is actually trending towards 5. What do you guys think? But I'd really say like 4.5 if I'm being honest. 4-? 3 for Cyclone? Oh, no way, Alpha Buff. It's so good, dude. It's so good. It's so much value. It's being played in Mage everywhere right now. I don't really think it's the reason the deck works, necessarily. No way that it's a 5. I don't feel good putting it at 5 either, for some reason. There's probably some data suggesting it's close. But I'd say 4.5+, you know, like 4.6, 4.7 or something. Very good card. Really, really good card. But 4 is in the right range. We identified the potential, you know. 4 is fair. So that was 7, so we need to go to 8. We're gonna have to speed this up a little bit, guys. I don't have all day. Like, I don't got all day. Like, we got a lot of cards left because part 12 is like 40 cards on its own. We'll probably go through those pretty fast. Katrina Muerte is a 4-star card. Not yet. I think Muerte is a 3-star card right now. She's being played in Res Priest, maybe 3-, arguably even. It's kind of hard to even see her as a 3-star card at the moment. 1.6% of decks though does indicate she's pretty good on 3. And I think this card has a lot of potential, so 4 is a possibility someday. Although I'll say, if this card isn't already good in this meta, it might be harder for her to get good in future metas. Although if a card like a Lich King style card comes out where it's like this really big, awesome value bomb kind of thing, then Muerte has more potential. So 4 is reasonable still, but she's 3 right now. 3 minus even. Some people are saying 3, 3, 2, 4 minus. She's killer in wild. Yeah, good in wilds. So that's why I think the potential's there. Nozari is a 4-star card. No. Nozari is not a 4-star card. And I don't think he's ever going to be a 4-star card. I think this is absolutely a 2-star card. Maybe even 2 minus right now. Just really, really slow. Only at 0.1% of decks. So like 1.8 or something. And I think he's too slow. I don't think he's good enough. I thought Paladin could go long enough. I did see this played in like a super greedy control Paladin and like the World Championships. I think Roger or somebody was running it. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe there's potential, but not a 4-star potential, I don't think. It just seems way too awkward to use. I think I overvalued the heal here and didn't consider the speed enough. So, 2 stars. Unseen Saboteur is a 3-star card. Yeah, these tech cards like this, it's played some. I think 2 stars is actually fair for Unseen Saboteur right now. Doesn't feel like a 3-star card today. But I think it will be eventually. I think it has that potential to be a 3-star card. I don't think it's ever a 4-star card by any means, but another one of those tech cards, kind of like Heckle Bhatt. Just depends on the meta, whether or not this one sees play at any given point. So 2+, 3 is reasonable and in range. Duel is a 3-star card. Duel is not a 3-star card. No, Duel. I mean, there was that like big Paladin list that was running Duel, like Tice or somebody made one that was like decent for like a day. People were excited about it for like a day, but it never got saw any play before that or after that. It's just nobody's playing it. So Duel is a 2-star card. So we know it has potential, but it's just not good. It's not good. I love Unseen Saboteur, not super useful, but a 5/6 on 6 to disrupt your opponent's hand can be good. Yeah, exactly. It just depends on the meta and how much you need to disrupt spells. I love this a bit in my heart, but it will always be 1. Yeah, I think 2 is right. Shadowy Figure is a 3-star card. Not today, no. Shadowy Figure is definitely 2 minus. I don't think I've ever seen this card played. There are no Priest Death Metal shenanigans happening right now. Yeah, 0.1% of decks. That's very, very bad. 2 minus at the moment. But this is another card that I think has plenty of potential. I mean, early flexible card. Late game has some value too, potentially, right? Because if you get a really high value Death Rattle, you know, Mechanical Whelp style stuff. Just needs a deck that makes sense for it. So Priest being down right now and no Death Rattle synergy stuff right now, I mean, it's not going to look good. But I think it could be a 3-star card someday. Future potential for sure. 2 minus right now. Shot is a 2-star card. No, Mark Shot's way better than I thought. Mark Shart. That's not what I meant to say. Mark Shart. I hate that guy, man. Mark's a real jerk, dude. I think this is a 4-star card, actually. Definitely at least 3+, but it's being played in most Hunter lists right now. All the guys named Mark out there, like Regis. Yeah, 8.1% of decks is a 4-star card. This is a 4-star card. And I'm just stunned. I think, again, this was a trap where it was a Kobolds and Catacombs thing. We compared this to Flanking Strike, and it's like so much worse than Flanking Strike, right? Like, Flanking Strike is amazing in comparison to this. Because you get a minion, you know, it's way better tempo card, and Hunter loves minions, and they love tempo. This one felt really slow to me, like, oh, only 4 damage in a spell. But it turns out with things like Zul'jin around, you know, it's okay to be a little bit slower because Zul'jin is going to pull you back later. And just spells sometimes are amazing. Some good spells that got added to Hunter across the board. So, yeah, just a good solid card. It just works really well. Walking Fountain is a 4-star card. I think a lot of you will say it's a 4-star card, but I don't actually think it is. It's certainly close. It's fine to say that, probably 3+, because it feels so good to play Walking Fountain when it lands, right? Like, you're like, oh, this is a 4-star card every time you play it. I think if you look at it from a wider meta kind of deck inclusion standpoint, it's really more of a 3-star card. Title still says Legend of Grind. Oh, sure it does. I'm bad at that stuff. Let's see. Re-review. Just gonna put one-word titles. I look at other people's Twitch titles and they have all these like commands and like advertisements and like all kinds of cool stuff going on, and then I do mine and it's like, oh, re-review. That's all it says. Like legend. That's all it'll say. Hearthstone. I'm just not good. But my thing is like when you're looking at the Twitch views, usually like the list view in Twitch or the grid view, you can only see like 4 or 5 words anyway. It's not usually that much you can see, so I don't want it to be too long. Anyway, Walking Fountain probably 3+. If Shaman comes around, 4 stars is totally reasonable. It could get to 4 with no question. But right now it's not actually there. Shaman's not that common, so I'd say 3+. Our card. There you go, folks. All right, we're going to pick this up a little bit, guys. I didn't want to run super late today, unless League of Legends came out, and then I was going to play it, but I don't think that's coming out today. A lot of people are saying tomorrow. I don't know. How do I know when it comes out, though? Will you guys tell me? Will somebody send me a message in Discord or something that, like, hey, Teamfight Tactics is out? 21 hours ago, somebody said it's set for tomorrow's public beta environment. That would imply today. When's it supposed to come out, guys? How do I even know? Is there a League of Legends subreddit? Well, I mean, obviously there is, but I mean, I know that. I'm just trying to find it, right? Toast said today. That's what I heard too, but somebody in chat earlier was saying not today, so I don't know. We got to go faster on these, guys. We got to go faster on these. I'm having fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's great to take our time. Reviews. Dreamway Guardians is a 4-star card. Yeah, I think that's actually fair. It's being played a ton in Token Druid. It's very good. Token Druid's a popular deck. 4 stars feels exactly right. I mean, just getting 2 good minions for 2 mana is awesome. Life Weaver is a 3-star card. Life Weaver's not a 3-star card yet. I think it's a 2-star card so far. I do think it has potential, though. A deck that's healing does like value, and this is sort of a value generator. The question is, are Druid spells good enough? Maybe. Some of them are pretty specific, like me not want ramp cards and stuff. So I think 2 is completely reasonable here. Crystal Song Portal is a 2-star card. No, it's a 3-star card. It's been played in some Token Druid lists. It's not being played much right now that I've seen. But I think it got played enough to merit a 3-star ranking. It's still in 1.1%, so definitely 3 for Crystal Song Portal. I didn't think this would work well. I thought it would be too hard to match the condition for it, but it turns out it wasn't that hard. I think we maybe envisioned more treants and hand type stuff, but it's a fine card. 9 Lives is a 4-star card. No, it did get played in Oblivitron Hunter early, but it never got to 4-star level. It's very good in Wild, as we found out. Feels more like a 2+ or 3 card to me right now. I guess 3 is probably where it lives, actually. 1.7% even today, and it had higher rankings earlier, so I would say 3 is completely fair for 9 Lives. So a little off, close, but not quite as much upside as we expected. That said, I think it has a lot of potential, because in Wild format, we've seen how good it can be. 2-star card. Yeah, Underling's fine. It did actually pop into a deck one time. I saw somebody put this in a list, but mostly it's been bad. I think it's too slow for what it is and too conditional. It's like much worse than a Fungalmancer, much less reliable than Fungalmancer. I don't think this card exceeds the 2-star mark, honestly. Plot Twist is a 2-star card. Yeah, it is. Screw you guys. All of you out there on YouTube, all of you, you know who you are. You know who you are. Who besmirched my name, who insulted my beard, who said I was stupid. I know who you are. I see you. I know you. You said Plot Twist was great. Best card in the set. 5 stars. Regis, you're an idiot. Regis, you're a moron. No. No. It's a 2-star card. Deal with it. Now, is it going to be better? I still don't think so, to be honest. I still don't really think this card has a lot of potential in and of itself. If they do add enough like Aranasi Broodmother style effects, where you get all these benefits from cycling cards, then maybe. But here's the problem, right? Why Plot Twist sucks. I'm going to make a video on this dedicated. You lose card advantage. You give up a card just to see a handful of new things, but you always trade on the scheme of the universe. If you zoom out enough, you always trade an average hand for an average hand. And what does that mean? It means every hand is an average hand. In other words, over the course of 100 games, right, if you take all those hands, you always have an average. Because that's just how the world works, right? Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's average, but over the course of 100 games, it's always average. So, theoretically, universally speaking, what this card does on average is trade you from an average hand to an average hand. Now, clearly, you can have really bad hands, and there's points where it feels good, and you trade from a bad hand to a good hand. And I get it, that exists, those moments are there. But, alternatively, there's sometimes you have really good hands, and if you want to play Twat Twist, what are you doing? You're trading from a good hand to potentially a bad hand. So, when you average that out, you trade from an average hand to an average hand, which means sometimes the card is okay, sometimes the card is dead. But you always sacrifice card advantage in the process, because you lose a card, you lose the plot twist. Your hand is smaller than it was pre-plot twist. So you go from an average hand to an average hand minus one card, right? And again, we're speaking like universally, theoretically, but that's the result of plot twist on average. An average hand to an average hand without an extra card. So, you know, outside of those on-draw effects, which do exist, and it could make this better, I just don't think it gets there. So, what you're saying is there's a chance. Yes. But definitely 2-star card right now, and maybe a chance. Maybe hope for more.
Vendetta is a 4-star card.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you could make an argument for 3 with Vendetta, but it's being played right now. We got it used against us today. Really good with Hinchland Burglar, obviously. Really high tempo when it works. It feels really good to play. It's being included in Rogue List, so yeah, sure.
Magic Trick is a 2-star card.
No, Magic Trick is better than 2 stars. It's way better, actually. I think we could argue for 4 pretty easily. 7.7% of decks right now. Mage loves it. It's so good with Mana Cyclone. You're getting 2 cheap spells chain with your Sorcerer's Apprentice and Mana Cyclones. Definitely a 4-star card. Really, really good. I didn't think it would exist in that potential. And we'd already seen Mana Cyclone at this point, too. I thought it would just be too random, but it's really, really good. Total hard underrate.
Batterhead is a 2-star card.
Probably. I think there's an argument that Batterhead has gotten to 3. We've seen it in like some Resurrect Priest decks and stuff. It's in 1% of decks right now. It really feels like 2+ to me, or maybe 3-. I don't really think Batterhead's a solid 3. I think 2 is totally fair for it, but it's close to 3. I don't really think it's going to get better than it gets now either, because we already have like a pretty token-driven meta. It comes down too late. So without some kind of really, really powerful synergy for it, it's just hard to make it work. So I think that's fair.
Khadgar in this card, so hard to. Mage Vargoth is a 5-star card.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Vargoth has been played enough across a different variety of decks for a neutral card that it feels like a 5-star card to me. I think you could argue 4+. He's only in 8% of decks right now, but I mean, for a neutral card that's so good and game-winning occasionally, I think 5 stars is completely fair. 4.8 or something, right? Most of you guys are saying 5, so yeah. I think just doubling spells is so powerful. It just feels really, really good.
Noswhisker is a 4-star card.
No, Tack's not 4 stars yet. Tack is definitely, to me, a 2-star card right now. Is there a way to just go back a little bit? Go back frame by frame here. I'd say 2 for Tack. You guys agree, right? Yeah. Tack just doesn't have what it needs. I don't know. I think it's just too slow at 7 mana. Like, yes, Tack plus Togwaggles is nice, but you're spending 7 mana and only getting a 6/6 the same turn. You're generating a lot of value, but Rogue can't play that well without tempo, because Rogue doesn't have enough survivability. Like, Rogue can generate cards already. That's not a problem for Rogue. They have to be able to stay alive, and Tack does not help you do that. Really passive turns. So, yeah, sure, if he was 4 mana, I think he'd be an absolute home run, but at 7, he's hard to get there.
Underbelly Fence is a 4-star card.
No, Fence is definitely not a 4-star card. It's not even really being played that much in Rogue at all right now. 3.2% of decks. It's made a little bit of a comeback post-nerf, but still not that popular, and it's even declined since the nerfs. It's losing ground again. I think 3+ for Underbelly Fence is fine. 3 is pretty fair. Does it have a chance? Yes, of course, because Thief Rogue could get more prominent, and this becomes a great card. Problem right now is it's really hard to get a card on turn 1 in Thief Rogue. If they add a turn 1 option to get a card, then this becomes way, way better, because you can play it on curve more consistently. So that'll open up the doors for this one wide if it happens. It'll be amazing. Until then, it feels like a 3-star card.
Desperate Measures is a 2-star card.
Yeah, that's fair. It got played a little bit in that, like, early on Secret Paladin stuff. It's not very good right now. Clearly not being played any. So 2 for Desperate Measures feels dead on. I don't think it's a 1-star card by any means.
Call to Adventure is a 3-star card.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's being played. It's played in OTK list some, Mech Paladin some, right? Like all these things run Call to Adventure. 4% of decks right now. I actually don't know if it's played in OTK much, but I don't think it feels like a 4-star card to me though. It just doesn't feel fundamental to the deck or like the star card or anything. It's just 3. It feels like a true 3-star card. I don't think it gets much better either, honestly. It's pretty expensive for what it does. Kind of a hand buff style thing. So 3 feels like it's
Big
locked
Bad
in.
Archmage is, believe it or not, a 1-star card.
No, actually, I sounded really proud there for giving something 1 star. I think it's actually like 2+, maybe even 3. I was really proud to finally give something 1 star, and I got it wrong. I think you gotta say 2+ for this one. It's been played at like big shaman, like the Muk Morpher shaman stuff. You know, some of you'll say, "Oh, it's great off of like Conjurer's Calling," you know, Sea Giants. That doesn't really factor into the rankings because it's more about deck inclusion. But I think 2 is actually the mark on Big Bad Archmage. I thought it would just be way too slow at 10 mana, you know, but it has some upside with Muk Morpher. It's kind of cool. Great in arena. Yeah, that doesn't really factor in too much either. But yeah, it's better than I thought it'd be.
And
Not a true 1-star card at all. I'm sad that's the one I went out on and gave it 1 star of all the stuff, right?
8 new cards, including Barista.
Of all the stuff I went out on a limb
just-
for. All right.
Quick reviews.
All right. Quick review.
Barista Lynchen is a 4-star card.
Not quite. I think 3 stars is where Barista lands, right? Let's take a look real quick. I don't know. She's in 5% of decks as a neutral card. That actually makes me wonder. Being played in some of the mage lists, Tempo Rogue, Control Warrior, Pogo Rogue, Bomb Warrior. I think you got to give 3+ at 5%. Honestly, I think that trend's pretty close to 4 for a neutral card. And definitely feels like the kind of card that has the potential to get to a solid 4. I think this is like 3.7 to me. You know, 3+, 4- range. I think this is pretty close. I think 4 is a fair score.
Archivist Elysiana is a 4-star card.
Yeah, I think there's actually 4+ for Elysiana, probably. Very popular. Really, mostly Control Warrior. The 1 deck aspect locks her out of 5, I think. I don't think you can say 5-star card. Thanks, Dr. Frank. Was 5 before the nerf? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, closer. But I think 4 actually probably even pre-nerf. But still 4. Played less than she was. I think 4 is dead on.
Exotic Mount Seller is a 1-star card.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 2. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, who cares, I guess. Some people were experimenting with this early, and like I saw a couple decks try it, but it's down to 0.17%. That's pretty close to 1-star range. Which a lot of people, again, hated on me for this score. A lot of people thought this card had a lot of potential in like token decks. Looked too slow to me. I think we've proven that it is kind of slow right now. I mean, 1+, I'd say, but
Lucent
1 is
Bark
totally fine.
is a 3-star card.
Not yet. Lucent Bark's really a 2-star card. I don't actually think he's ever going to get to 3 stars either, to be honest. Crap, I just closed chat accidentally, guys. Lucent Bark feels locked in at 2 to me. I don't think I can make evidence for this being anything else. 3's a little over.
Pinch Clan Hag is a 3-star card.
Yeah, maybe. She does get tossed into like some things occasionally. I'd say probably 2+, 2.1% is her inclusion rate right now. That doesn't feel quite like 3 stars to me. I think this is probably a 2+ card, 2.5, 2.7. Some people are saying 3 for Hag, but I mean, we're not. It's reasonable, and certainly the card that can be 3 stars. The ability to open up so many different synergies, beasts, and mechs, and everything else. It's one of these cards where it feels like it has some potential, but it probably never becomes a dominant tier or star 4-star kind of thing.
Shimmerfly is a 2-star card.
No, I think you got to give Shimmerfly a little higher than that. I think Shimmerfly is landing at 3 for me, right? Yeah, 6.3% almost pushes it towards 4, but I don't think it feels like a 4-star card. I'd say almost died. I'd say Shimmerfly's 3+ to me. Some of you are saying 5? What? No. 4 I can hear an argument for. I'd say 3.5. I mean, we underrated this one, definitely. I didn't think it would get there. Again, I thought the spell added to hand wasn't worth enough in Hunter. Same mark shot problem, kind of. I think 3+ to 4- is the range here, between 3 and 4.
Card. Dimensional Ripper is a 2-star card.
Yeah, that's fine. It's been played in some big warrior lists. Like Fibonacci's had a list that was decent in, but it never became a real meta deck necessarily. Tier 4 at best, and I think 2 is locked in.
Aranasi Broodmother is a 3-star card.
I don't really know if Aranasi's gotten to 3 stars yet. Probably really a 2-star card in a lot of ways, only 0.6%. But 3 doesn't feel wrong to me. It certainly feels fine. I'd say 2 is the real number for Aranasi right now. 2+ maybe. But this is directionally within reason.
And there you go, folks.
All right, one last one to go, guys. We're on to part 12, but there's a lot of... Oh,
Hearths?
that's Snip Snap. I gave Snip Snap 5 stars, right? I don't know. I don't know if I actually gave it a score, but definitely thought it was a 5-star card. Talked it up big. This is going to be a long one. We're going to go through this one fast. I got to go, guys. I'm running late here.
Card.
Where does the...
Star card. Arc.
I include links in these so people can click it, and then I'm not even using them. My God.
Potion Vendor is a 4-star card.
No, Potion Vendor's not a 4-star card yet. I still see a lot of weird potential in this card because it just does so much being so cheap, but it's a 2-star card right now. Potion Vendor is definitely a 2-star card.
Dalaran Librarian is a 3-star card.
Arguably, it got played in some Silence Priest. It's still around at a very, very fringe level. I do think this has 3-star potential, but it's probably a 2-star card right now.
Convincing Infiltrator is a 4-star card.
Not yet. This has been played in some Res Priest stuff, but really feels more like a 3- to me. Maybe even a 2+. Just not a lot of Priest action at the moment. A lot of you guys are saying Vendor is 2 to 3. That seems fair. Librarian 3. I think Librarian comes under 3, but still fair. This is definitely 3-. It will be good, I think, at some point. I think 4 is definitely on the horizon.
Hinch Clan Shadequill is a 2-star card.
I'd say 2+. It got played in some Silence Priest. It's in that same range as Librarian, right? Like, just not any action right now. I guess it does get played in some Res decks too, though, actually. So maybe this is 3+. I actually think Shadequill's 3+. It's been played in a couple different decks. Silence decks and Res Priest a little bit, like combo Priest stuff. I'd say 3 is fair for Shadequill.
Arcane Watcher is a 3-star card.
Same exact story, all this Silence package stuff. I think 2+, 3- here, between 2 and 3. Doesn't feel that good.
Unsleeping Soul is a 3-star card.
Literally the exact same story. 2+, 3-. They got some fringe play, but aren't really seeing play, right?
Proud Defender is a 2-star card.
Sure, I've seen this pop up, but it feels like an arena card more than a constructed card. Is this actually being played at all? Less than 1%, so yeah, 2 is totally fair.
Soldier of Fortune is a 1-star card.
No, I think 2 is fair for Soldier. I think it feels more like a 2-star card. Same story with all the Silence stuff, although it isn't only 0.05% of decks right now. Actually, 1 might be fair. It's like in nothing. It's one of the lowest played cards of the set. 1+ maybe? I don't know. It's
Waggle
close.
Pick is a 4-star card.
Yeah, arguably Waggle Pick was a 5-star card pre-nerf. I think it achieved 5-star status. Even now, though, still a 4-star card. But I think it got to 5. It was a defining card. Like, one of the best cards of the set. Changed the meta completely. Got nerfed, sort of, right? Like, basically got nerfed. Sideways nerf, but essentially functionally. They had to nerf it. So yeah, it was 5 and is now still a 4-star card. It's still very good. So sure.
Inferno is a 3-star card.
No, actually, Inferno right now is like 2-. It's really bad. I don't think it's that good. It's very awkward to use. No deck synergize with this. I don't think it has a lot of potential either. I don't think this ever gets beyond 2 stars. It's like 1 star or 2-.
Mana Reservoir is a 2-star card.
Yeah, sure. We've played this in a deck or two. It didn't feel terrible, but not seeing play. 2- or 1's
Magic
fine.
Dart Frog is a 4-star card.
I have seen Dart Frog pop up, but I don't really think it's achieved 4-star status at all. I think it's like 3-. It's in 0.7% of decks. Yeah, I'd say 2 stars for Dart Frog is fine. And somebody played it like recently in a tournament or something, but it definitely is not 4 stars. Two for Dart Frog.
Magic Carpet is a 2-star card.
Yeah, Magic Carpet is definitely a 4-star card. Maybe even higher, 4+. I missed on this one hard. I didn't think it had any potential. I really didn't think a deck could run enough 1-drops to make it worth it. But they can. Zoo can run enough 1-drops. What side are you checking percents with? HS Replay. Looking at the last 1 day for deck inclusion. Sea Giant is a 1-drop. Exactly, yeah. I just didn't think a deck could support it, but they can. Zoo is amazing. It's 4+. Some people are saying 5. I don't really feel like it's 5 yet, because Zoo was never fully tier 1.
Mad
But
Summoner is a 2-star card.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, arguably 1 star. It's pretty bad. 2-, 1, either one of those is fine.
Jumbo Imp is a 3-star card.
We haven't seen evidence for that yet. Jumbo Imp feels like a 2-star card right now. I think there's still potential, for an Imp kind of demon deck, but not a 3-star card. Definitely 2- range right now.
Kirin Tor Tricaster is a 2-star card.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't seen this played. 2-, 1+, whatever, somewhere down there. It's pretty bad.
Sunreaver War Mage is a 4-star card.
Yeah, maybe not today, but War Mage has been played actually a fair bit.
Kirin Tor Tricaster is a 2-star
sorry.
card.
Sorry.
Sunreaver War Mage is a 4-star.
I wanted to talk about this one. What do you guys think on Sunreaver War Mage? It got played a lot early on. I don't know if it ever got to 4-star status. I'm probably thinking 3 still. Don't let your current bias totally influence you, because I think this is a 3-star card, and I think it'll actually remain a 3 to 4-star card. 3+, 4-, yeah. I would say, I think 3 is right for War Mage, but I think this has 4-star potential still. I think it could be really good. It's actually good in aggressive decks and control decks both, which is intriguing.
4-star card. Sunreaver Spy is a 4-star card.
No, it never got to 4 stars. Well, actually, it's played in Secret Hunter right now, isn't it? Hold up. This might actually be a real 4-star. Hold up. I was thinking 3-star for this, but only 2.9%. Like, apparently, it's not being played in that much Secret Hunter at this point, or there's not enough Secret Hunter, even though Secret Hunter is a tier 1 deck. Some of you guys are saying 4 for Spy. I feel better at like 3+, 3.5 range. But 4 is not out of reason. It's not crazy. It's not insane. Secret Hunter is good. Secret Mage could use this eventually someday, somehow. I think 3+ feels right for me.
Mysterious Blade is a 4-star card.
No, Mech Paladin never got there. It's really more like a 2+. Mech Secret Paladin was what it was, but it never quite got there. I think 3 stars is reasonable for this card. It becomes Fire War Axe at that point with a the Battle Cry active. But I think 2+ is really where it's at.
Blessing of the Ancients is a 2-star card.
No, 4-star card. I totally underrated this one. I think I underrated Twin Spell in general. I just didn't think the tempo sacrifice of Twin Spell for the value gain was going to be relevant enough. But it's been very good. 4-star card, easy. Token Druid is great, and tier 1 deck, and this is a big part of it, so easy 4.
Acorn Bearer is a 3-star card.
I actually think Acorn Bear is a 4-star card too. Really, really good at Token Druid and all versions of Token Druid. A Token Druid is great, so another 4-star card. Yeah. Acorn Bear, again, I didn't think the in-hand value was going to be worth it, but it was, man. It's really, really good.
Soul of the Murloc is a 4-star card.
No, I think it's probably 3 stars, really. It is played in some Murloc Shamans, though, which is very good. It's in 5% of decks, actually. 4 stars might be fair. 4 is not far off from this. I still, my instinct is like 4-, like 3.5, 3.7 range. But 4 is not insane. 4 is not insane. It's actually Overload is used it as well. Yeah, you're right, because of all the 1/1 stuff they summon. Pretty good card.
Toxfin is a 4-star card.
Yeah, I think that's right. Great in Murloc text, Murloc Shaman. It's fantastic. Toxfin is awesome. I remember when Acorn Bear was called Squirrel Whisperer. That's why it's in my final review. Remember, it got revealed way earlier, and I waited until the final review to get the official name. Nobody had the real name. So I waited to get the real name to put it in the review. That's why it's late. Everybody else had already talked about it like weeks ago. Toxfin for 4 is right on.
Underbelly Angler is a 4-star card.
Welcome.
Yeah, I mean,
Boys,
this one is like 4+ to me. Really, really good card. Has helped define Murloc Shaman, which is a really high tier 1 deck currently. Some of you guys are saying 5, which I hear the argument. I hear it. I don't think it's a crazy argument to make. I don't think it quite gets there, but it's close, man. It's like 4-5, 4-6, 4-7 range. A lot of you guys think 5. Okay, fair enough. I don't hate that argument. Normally I'd be more defensive against a 5-star argument, I think, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. 4+ to 5 is completely reasonable.
Scargill is a 3-star card.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people got hyped on Scargill, and as you can see, I kind of pulled him down a little bit. I pulled him back over Angler and Toxfin, and I think that's right. 3 is completely fine for Scargill. He's played occasionally. He's played in some decks. He's been played in some Murloc Shamans, but not right now. 2 is even an argument for Scargill, I think. But 3 is probably right where he should be. So, well done.
Mutate is a 1-star card.
Yeah, right now I think that's fair. 1+ maybe, but does not feel like a 2-star card to me even. I've never seen Mutate considered at all remotely. I've never seen him remotely
Rapid
played.
Fire is a 3-star card.
No, I think Rapid Fire is probably a 2-star card right now. I don't really think anybody's playing that. It got played a little bit in that like Malagos, Varisa, Windrunner, Hunter early on, but that fell off really fast, and I don't think there's evidence to say this is a 3-star card yet. I think it could be. Just, again, Twin Spell's cool, but just doesn't pack enough punch for Hunter. I thought it would be a new Candle Shot, right? Like, it's kind of like Candle Shot if you think about it, in a way, but worse. So, yeah, I'd say 2 stars is fine.
Safeguard is a 4-star card.
No, I think Safeguard's cool. It's a cool thing to exist, but I don't think it's ever gotten to 4 on its own, right? 1.4% of decks now. I'd say 3- or 2+ here. Between 2 and 3 for Safeguard. This feels like a hard overrate right now. It's pretty overrated.
Ursatron is a 3-star card.
No, Ursatron's a 4-star card. Mech Hunter is amazing. Ursatron's a big part of it. 4-star card for sure. Easy 4. Easy 4. 3 is underrating it a little.
Whirlwind Tempest is a 2-star card.
Yeah, or 1. I mean, 2- I think is where this lands. It's got some weird potential, but it won't get there.
Violet Warden is a 2-star card.
Sure. Yeah, it's not very good either. 2- 1. That's fine.
Violet Spellsword is a 2-star card.
Yep, that's fine too. I think this card has some interesting potential. Like, it's kind of cool, like Mana Cyclone stuff maybe, but it seems too awkward and too conditional, so 2- 1's fine.
Vicious Scrap Hound is a 4-star card.
No, I wish, man. I still like this card a lot. I want this card to be so good. So many parts of it make sense, but it's really a 2-star card right now. Hey, Maddie and Elmore, 16 months. Are my subs not working? Why don't I hear that coming through on my... Oh,
Boys,
there you go.
some Loomba.
Thank you, Maddie and Elmore. That's amazing. 16 months, big time sub. I think this card has potential still. I want to keep an eye on this one. I don't know if it'll get to 4, but I like this card a lot. It's 2 today, though. 2 today.
Underbelly Ooze is a 1-star card.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, people experimented with this a little bit, including myself. It felt kind of cool. Maybe you'd argue 2, but 1's fine. 1+.
Tunnel Blaster is a 3-star card.
Not yet, but I think this is another one that has potential. I think this could still see some play in a control deck at some point, depending on the meta and how important of a breakpoint 3 health is against other minions. So, sure. Yeah, I mean, 2 stars right now. Maybe 3 someday.
Spellbook Binder is a 2-star card.
Sure, yeah. Not played at all. 2-, 1+.
Recurring Villain is a 1-star card.
I guess 2. Some people are playing this in Tempo Priest. Maybe some of you guys are going to tell me 3 because you like Priest a lot, but I don't think you can make that argument yet. I think 2 though is probably the right mark. I don't know. It's only 2.2% of decks right now. I don't know, man. I still doesn't really feel like a 2-star card to me, but 2's fine argument to make. 2 at most. 2 at most.
Portal Overfiend is a 2-star card.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Portal Keeper is a 2-star card.
Sure.
Heroic Innkeeper is a 1-star card.
Sure. I actually like Innkeeper. She's fun, but definitely not seeing any play.
Hinch Clan Sneak is a 3-star card.
Oh, I said 3, but had 2 written. That always go with a voice. Always go with a voice, because I do the editing of the stars afterwards. I don't think Sneak's a 3-star card. Somebody was playing it like Mage one time, but it's like 2-. 2-.
Flightmaster is a 1-star card.
Yep,
Faceless
sure.
Rager is a 4-star card.
No, I still want to like this card a lot, but it has not gotten a 4-star status. It's a 2-star card. It's people experimented with it a little bit, but it's fallen off really hard. So, 2 stars for Rager, I think. 2 stars. Yeah, Key. That would be a great way to buff Morgan, so you could get a pick. Yeah, that would help a lot, man. So it's less random and wouldn't have to build your deck around it so much. Yeah, totally agree.
Eccentric Scribe is a 2-star card.
There was like a moment where Scribe got to 3 stars. He's being played in like Token Druid, but it didn't really last. I didn't really ever see it take off. Now he's at 0.5. I think 2's okay for Scribe. So you guys think 3 for Rager and 3 for Scribe. Scribe's a great arena card. Yeah, no doubt about that. We're talking about standard specifically though. I think 2 is honestly fine for Scribe. 2+. I mean, it is an argument for 3, but I think 2+.
Dalaran Crusader's a 2-star card.
Sure.
Burly Shovel Fist is a 1-star card.
Sure. It's a good arena here, but in standard, it's had 0 impact. So sure.
Azurite Elemental is a 3-star card.
No, I don't know why I went over on Azurite Elemental. Interesting. Probably just because it had decent stats, survivability. 2- for Elemental. I don't think it's a 3-star card. 1, arguably, sure. 2-, I think it's
Arcane
fair.
Servant is a 2-star card.
Sure.
Arcane Fletcher is a 2-star card.
Sure.
Sweeping Strikes is a 2-star card.
Yes, and a lot of people gave me a ton of flack for strikes. God, you guys really love, not you specifically, but some people out there really loved Sweeping Strikes. They were telling me it's a 5-star card, that it's going to dominate the game. Warrior's going to love it. Man, you just passed the 3 most broken arena cards. Well, it's not good in standard, yeah. It's like, this is a standard review only. Like, we don't care about arena or wilds. Like, sometimes they kind of color your opinion about, like, whether it's 1-star or 2-star, I guess, but just not what we're talking about, you know? Gotta stick a minion first, doesn't fit the control archetype at all. Yes, perfect. Yeah, exactly right. Really hard work. With Rush, it makes sense, but just like a card in your deck is really tough. Very, very awkward card to use. Has not gained any ground. It's in no decks right now. You hit Legend with this card. It sounds like you had a deck that was 29 good cards. You should have cut the last one and added something else. Worst card of the expansion, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's okay. It's like you don't hate to play it. It's just not, it's not actively hurting you. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's currently 0.19% of decks being played in a big warrior list and a Mechathune warrior list. I don't even know why it's in the Mechathune warrior list. What's it for? Guess maybe Militia Commander? I don't know. Huh. Dr. Boom Scheme's the worst card? Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Witch's Brew is a 3-star card.
I don't know. Is it actually being played? It's one of those things you're happy to get off random effects sometimes, but I don't know if it's actually being played. Yeah, 2.4%. Okay, 3 stars. 3 stars is fine then. I'd say 3-, honestly, but yeah, I think 3 is reasonable for
Hunting
Brew.
Party is a 1-star card.
Yeah, I think Hunting Party is terrible. I think this might actually be the worst card in the expansion. I feel like Hunting Party is just garbage. Atomic Anton is mad about something. What are you mad about, Atomic Anton? Dude. Anton, what's up, man? Give us the lowdown. Give us the breakdown, dude. What's wrong? Do you really, really like Sweeping Strikes? Oh, he's gone. Man, can't even be here to engage. That's sad. He had his window here. He had his moment to shine. We were going to give him so much attention, which is all he seeks anyway. Hunting Party's a crappier Voon. Great way to put it. Yeah. Great, great way to put it. Great, yeah, excellent way to put it. 0.06% of decks for this thing. Woo. Very bad. Darkest Hour is a 1-star card. Some of you guys are going to get triggered by that because it was really good in Wild, but speaking of which, we've ranked up to rank 2 in Wild, and I've never seen Darkest Hour played. Everybody was talking about the plague of Darkest Hour Warlock. I've gone from 15 to 2 and never seen it. Did it break or something? Like, what happened to the supposed Darkest Hour? What happened to Darkest Hour in Wild? Is it only played at low ranks or something? I totally don't know what happened. They didn't nerf it or anything, so I don't know why it's never been there. Like, I've never once seen it in Wild in 14 ranks or whatever. Anyway, 1-star in Standard is completely reasonable. Yeah, it's not played in Standard at all. Daring Escape is a 4-star card. I don't think we've seen evidence for Escape yet. I think Daring Escape is probably like a 2-star card, right? Actually, it's being played in Pogo Rogue, I guess, a lot right now. But I don't think that makes it a 4-star card, even though it has really high popularity at the moment. I think we have to say that's probably a 2+ or 3-star card at best. I would say 2+ to 3 is more reasonable. So probably a little bit of an underrate here. That said, I think this card has potential because it just does a big thing. And sometimes big things are important. And decks find ways to use big things. But otherwise, I think we're done. Boom! The re-review is over, team. We'll stay on that face. That's a pretty funny face to be frozen on right there. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really keep track of exactly how many we got right or wrong. It didn't feel like we were crazy off on too many things. You know? How would you guys say that review? How accurate would we say we were? We hard missed on what? Like maybe 5 to 10 cards where we were just like completely directionally wrong. Whereas like we gave it 4 and it got 2 or 1 or something, you know? Or we gave it 2 and it was a 4-star card. We were usually within a star, I felt like. Which is, you know, maybe not the biggest not the biggest claim to make. Well, we were within 20%, you know, but I'd honestly say we were pretty accurate. Just a few key misses here and there, nothing like really fundamentally awful. 70% accurate? Sure, that sounds fair. I think that's pretty good, honestly, at the end of the day. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, particularly in a totally new meta where we didn't know what was going to be happening. Totally new decks, totally new cards. I mean, obviously there's always new cards, but like a big vacuum was opened up and decks were going to rush in to fill it. So you did kind of have to look at cards from a characteristic standpoint, looking at their raw values. So, I don't know, pretty happy with that.